Welcome to. No, I'm not going to do it. Can't do it. We need some. We need to hit up Eloise and see if she can do us some intro, outro music for sure. So yeah, we don't need this weird intro. We're nearly 10 episodes in. This is episode 8.
I mean, at this point, we may as well just keep going with your weird intros. Doesn't seem
I'm not
scary.
a fan. I'm not my own fan, so yeah. happy if we don't.
As soon as we put music or something into it, everyone's going to go, nah, this is weird. Where's Adsy back?
I don't know. I'm pretty confident that that's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
No, we
Hey,
definitely
what are you drinking?
I'm drinking our sponsored beer, Peach Quincy.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well,
how'd you get a plug in?
Who's that
by? By our sponsor, Carbon 6.
Carbon 6 Brewing. Fantastic. Yeah, those guys are legends.
Their marketing guy's a bit of a dick, though.
Oh, yeah. He rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but if they get too close to him. Oh, dear. I've got a beer from that I've never had before and didn't even know was a brewery.
Okay.
This is down in Smithfield.
Yeah, okay.
In Queensland, which is up Cairns, Port Douglas way.
Yeah, I thought it was up North Queensland somewhere.
Yeah. So McAllister.
Oh, McAllister's. Yeah, they're just outside of Cairns.
Yep.
They're in Cairns.
So Brendan was up there. My mate Brendan was up there for work a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And brought me back a couple of these beers. And so this one is roasty red ale. And I'll tell you what, I've already had a mouthful, so the head's dissipated, but the colour on that is so good.
Yeah, they make good beers, and the venue itself, like basically, it's so unassuming. You go out, it's typical industrial shed sort of brewery, but then you look out, and it's just like fields behind it.
Yeah, right.
It's just like, this is just weird. Like it's not what you expect for Cairns. Like it's like farmland fields just up there. It's really nice.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is good. I've got another one there, but I've got other beers I want to drink tonight too.
Fair enough.
Yes, mate. So last week's pub court was on. Geez, this stirred up a hornet's nest. This one. And you know what? For good reason, it should do. Because there's people on both sides of this story that want to do stuff. We had more comments and votes, I think, than in any other pub court jury. If you want to join and be a part of the pub court jury, you can do. You just need to join our group. Go to facebook.com/groups/Aussie Beer Voyage. There's a pinned post at the top where you can choose our next week's case. And you vote as many times as you want in there, and we just cut off all the votes from one as we pull it off the list when it's the highest for each week, and then do the next highest one the following week. You can also comment on there and suggest ones for us to add. So last week's case, kids running PC 006, kids running wild in taprooms, family friendly or wrong setting. And this one was firmly in the prosecution's case of 58%, saying, nah, it's the wrong place for kids.
I mean, not firmly. That's a pretty... It's the closest we've had so far.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
It's the closest we've had. I mean, one of them was almost 100%. Last one was 70%.
Yep.
90%. Like it's definitely.
No, you're right. I've gone back and looked at them all. Yeah. It's the closest one.
And I kind of get it. I mean, the constant theme that I saw in the comments was going, "Oh, it should be allowed, but it's the parents' fault." And I'm going, "Yeah, well, it's the parents for letting them roam sort of wild, but." At the end of the day, kids aren't walking into venues themselves.
No. But there are a lot of good comments on there. Dan Venomer, famously owner of Hiker Brewing, who we used as an example last week. In my prosecution, of saying both of their venues because of that case, and I think that's the case for a number of things, right? In that if there's a kids area, and there's also, maybe you don't need a kids area, maybe you need an adults only area. I know that our mate Joel threw that
Yeah.
option up and said you don't need a kids area, you just need a parents area or an adults only area where if you
Yeah.
want to go to a brewery and sit there without kids, you can. That's normally called the sports bar.
Yeah.
in the pubs or the
The open
gaming
bar.
room.
It's the open bar. Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I think it's interesting to see sort of everyone's take on this. I did enjoy Paul Metcalf's comment
Oh,
about Tommy doing laps at Torella, and
yeah,
he
yeah.
just wanted to put him in the bin. Like, I get it, eh? And I don't think you're ever going to win the argument, left
No,
or right, on this. This is
no.
always going to be a
I
divisive.
don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this. I think it is very venue specific,
Yep.
and it's time specific.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's why, like, how many venues, and it almost became like this urban myth, in hospitality. I'm sure you've probably heard of it, that venues, you're not allowed, kids aren't allowed to be in venues past, I think at one point I was hearing like 8 o'clock. It was like, you can't have a kid in a venue after 8 o'clock. And it's like, well, if they're there with meals and food, there are rules around it, but
Yeah.
it's like
There are some laws that it's not an urban myth, that is the fact in some
but like
locations.
the timeline of around it and all of that sort of stuff was very exaggerated in some cases.
Yeah, but also it is to give people that freedom to come out to have dinner with your family and then piss off at 7, and then this place turns into party zone. You don't really want your kids.
No, but I think I think it's down to it is down to the individual venue to do so, to go,
Yeah,
actually, you know what, because venues do have the right to refuse service to anyone.
yeah.
Having kids is not a protected right. you can't
Oh, no.
discriminate. So they do have the right to refuse you service based on you bringing your kids in.
Yep.
So I think realistically it's just down to the venue and what they decide to do. And for those like me who don't want to go into a venue with kids running around, I just have to pick venues that are like that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, it just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, or you just like me, who's like pretty anal retentive with their kid, and make sure he doesn't run around. And
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, moving on. This week's case, which you can vote on by going to facebook.com/group/Aussie Beer Voyage, is going to be mentioned later in this episode, and you can vote on, be part of the jury then by joining the group. Mate, you can take on this news story.
Yeah, this one tickled my brain a little bit, actually, because it's very recent. I saw it come up on LinkedIn yesterday, I think it was, about Almanac Brewing over in the States, who are quite known for making their big hopped beers and stuff like that. So IPAs, pale ales, double IPAs, and all that. So they make really good, very high hopped beers. They've now worked with Air Capture, which is a tech company that tries to pull CO2 out of the atmosphere.
Yep.
And they're actually carbonating their beers with the CO2 that they've been able to pull out.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is like, and they've tested it on the first beer. They've done it on is Flow West Coast Pale Ale. So again, a high hopped beer. And I mean, both of us know that oxygen and especially high hopped beers do not mix in the slightest. So they've really put it to the test.
Yeah.
And I think this is, obviously these guys are quite a large brewery, so the plant itself is actually quite expensive to implement at this point in time. But it goes to show where the tech is these days around recapturing CO2. I mean, they've been doing it from recapturing CO2 from fermentation and putting it back into beers with that sort of stuff, but being able to do it straight from the air within the brewery itself
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh man, it's absolutely mental.
Well, it's like I reckon that carbon recapture and all of that sort of stuff is probably the step after you like your fusion stuff like that, because fusions were for ages like in the wine industry and otherwise big breweries, whereas now there's the smaller component fuses that are a bit more accessible to quite a few breweries.
Yeah.
More than a handful for sure.
Same thing
And
with pasteurization.
yep,
Same thing with pasteurizers. All of that high volume tech that, yeah, as you said, hasn't been available is now becoming available. So yeah, you're probably right. This is probably the next step.
mm. Yeah. Well, I had a sales guy in the venue the other month. Talking about some German system that was carbon recapture from your fermenter and stuff like
Mm.
that. So they're definitely targeting. I don't think there's any size limit now. Like it's starting to get to the point where the price point makes sense that if you can capture enough carbon, you can reuse it,
Yeah,
and you
I
don't
think I
have to.
think yeah, I think there's a couple of them that are on the market. I remember seeing them at BrewCon when we were down and talking to them there. That at that point it was still the volume required consistent throughput. It was still even though the cost wasn't so bad, the technology still required a fair amount of throughput and volume to make it work.
Yep.
For that side. But again, that's probably going to be the first thing that becomes cheaper and more easily accessible. And then this will be the next thing is actually just pulling the CO2 out of nothing, out of the air,
Yeah, that's right.
literally pulling it out of thin air.
Yeah, yeah, yep. So yeah,
um,
no, that's pretty cool.
I mean, it goes on to what we were talking about last week with Voyager Malt, sort of aiming at that environmental sustainability. Like everyone's starting to aim towards that market as the next sort of big thing. It was
Yeah,
as a way of improving the
how many
industry.
people do you reckon are doing it because their heart is really in the right place, or that they want to um, just save money? They're just doing it for the financial gain and the we're green or we're doing it.
Oh, look, uh, I think there is a bit of a mix of both. I don't think it's that there's people in one side or the other. I think that because the capex to actually install some of these, it's expensive, so they've got to have some sort of want
Yeah,
to
but you
do
get
it.
in the news, you get the
Yeah, you get in
media.
the news, so you've got the publicity around it. Um, so yeah, I think there is that factor. Um, but I think there's quite a few breweries that do look at sort of their impact on wastage, CO2 emissions, and all of that sort of stuff, and they go, "Oh shit, we probably should do a little bit to do that,
Yeah,
to try and help that sort of area." But I think you are right. I think there is a bit of that sort of. It gets us in the news. It makes us look good. We can claim that we're carbon neutral and all of that sort of stuff. I think there is a fair bit of that as well, but also just the ability to be self sufficient on a commodity like CO2, which
oh
all of
yeah,
our breweries require. Like you can't have a brewery without external CO2.
yeah, yeah, yep.
And like especially during that COVID period where CO2 was so hard to get, some of the plants were shut down, like it was all rationed. It was a nightmare. That I think people are starting to look at that sufficiency, how to be self sufficient and how to be a bit more less reliant on external parties and bring so much more in house. I think is also
Yeah,
the other side of that coin.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But I would love
Um,
to get that beer to see what it tastes like. Just say like I'd love to know what the purity of that CO2 is and whether there is what the risks are of DO getting into the product. I'd love to see what that is like.
yeah, 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 for sure. Mate, moving on. Can I take this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yesterday, Queensland Beer Co. Officially launched with a massive ad campaign with a whole bunch of Queensland NRL footy icons: Wally Lewis, Darren Lockyer, Jonathan Thurston, Cameron Smith, are all part of what was Catchment Ballistic Fortitude and are now Queensland Beer Co. And they've launched with a massive bang.
Phew.
The marketing ad reel, which is probably already chopped up into 15 different segments and whatnot, is going to be out there. for their mid lager. They're taking on the big boys. They've gone hard at it.
Mm.
I looked at it just before. I'm not sure where it's at now, but even their Instagram account already has something like just under 20,000 followers. It's probably more now. And that's super fast growth, super fast interest. And I think that people will be interested specifically because these sports stars are into it. If you read some of the comments on it, people are like, yes, get onto it. There's also that guy on there, is it Grox?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, they've got the personalities around it, they've got the marketing, and it's ready to go. The official launch is at Darling and Co. this Friday at 3 p.m. Well, that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I can't go. I'm gutted. I was going to try and go, but I'm not going to be able to. I'd love to go and check them out. But
I might head down.
yeah, no. So yeah, I think it's going to be successful for sure. But yeah, like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, as I said earlier, this is definitely a pay to win. this is a pay to win sort of
Well, is it like
campaign with
when
them.
what's the name? Like with the Inspired Unemployed, like Better Beer, like Traveller with what's the name? And who's Nick Kyrgios behind?
Oh, that died pretty quickly though. The Nick
Oh yeah,
Kyrgios
I know.
one
Yeah,
that
yeah,
died.
but you
But I
know what
think
I mean. So yeah, not all they're not
yeah,
all successful, and they're not all pay to
no,
play. So
no. But I think they've been very clever about who they've gotten in. I mean, they've gotten what probably the biggest footy icons Queensland has ever had. Like, I,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
I
don't think
reckon.
you could pick. I'm pretty sure they've gotten everyone that has a statue currently at Suncorp. Like, I'm pretty sure they've got everyone.
Mate,
Um,
the only way to get anyone in a different age bracket would be to get Reece Walsh um,
yes, yep,
involved, like
but
purely
I think
for the
that,
younger crowd, not.
but yes, true. But I think they've been smart and gone with the older demographic, considering we've seen the trend of alcohol sales to the younger generation. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah, for sure.
I think they've done a smart play here, and they've gotten together a whole bunch of guys that are already really good mates. So it makes it look very natural.
Yeah.
It doesn't come across as this forced marketing gimmick.
No,
Um,
no, no. They look
like
like
the
they're involved. I
yeah,
actually like the ad, which pisses me off
yes,
too because
I know.
it's
Fucking
funny and
annoys me as
hilarious.
well.
Even right at the end, it's like bloopers in the credits. It's
Yeah,
it's
they've
just
done
good.
very well.
Yeah,
I think I think they've done well with that. I still, I mean, clearly they're going for and chasing the national distro again.
yeah,
Which you know my thoughts on that. I think it's I think it's a very dumb thing to do. I think while yes, going for larger distribution is great, going national, I think is risky at best, business suicide at worst.
yeah.
Um,
But you can't you can't discount the fact that some Queensland beers are some of the most well known in the country.
yes, yeah, yep,
You know, Bolter,
sure,
Forex, Great Northern. You know,
yep, sure.
I mean, and I'm
But
using the term Queensland beers very loosely here when it's brewed all around the country.
I know what you mean. But if you look at those, they didn't start chasing the nationals. Well,
No, I
yes,
know.
this is the catchment group rebranding and all of that. So they've already got an established brands. They've already got established, or it's not even an established brand because it's brand new. But they've got
Yes.
established venues. They've got established breweries. They've got all of that. But this still is a brand new brand identity, and they're going straight in hard, looking at national distro.
Yeah.
Which, look, obviously I'm not there. I'm not seeing. I don't see the numbers and all of that sort of stuff. But history repeating says that
Yeah, yeah.
unless they've really changed their strategy and the way that they're going to do this, it could just be another ballistic situation. I hope it's not. I think they've
I
done
don't
very
think
well, and
yeah,
I think
I
they've
don't think it's
changed.
going to be a
I don't
ballistic
think it's going to be
situation
sorry.
at all.
That was probably a bad. That was a bad a bad
Oh,
way to go with
I
that.
think so because I think they just put a lot of money behind it, and there's a lot of
Yes.
people behind it, and there wasn't really with ballistic before.
No. 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 No.
Um,
So I think if done right, cool. And I think especially in Queensland, having those guys are going to be a big part of growing the brand within Queensland.
yeah, yeah,
Whether that results in national sales, because that's clearly what they're gearing up for, is a whole different ball game. So
yeah.
I think I think they will do very, very well in Queensland. I have no doubt that they will absolutely smash it here um, in the home state.
Yep.
I think when you start looking at interstate, so looking at Victoria, South Australia, and things like that, I think they're going to struggle. While, yes, they are big names, they're not the big names down there. That doesn't make, I don't know whether that'll have as much of an impact as it will
Oh,
up here.
I reckon it will, and I reckon just the buzz around it, like a quick Google of Queensland Beer Co has like 4 big news stories already.
Yeah.
Um, and it'll go into like sports news. They'll start talking about it in the NRL,
Yeah. Yep.
like as jokes and commentary and stuff. I think
Yeah. Yep.
it'll definitely filter through and make its way out. I messaged Tiff today. I was talking to Tiff,
Yeah. Yep.
and she was like, I was like, holy shit, man, how's the notifications? She's like, the phone has just been like non-stop.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm not surprised.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not surprised at all. I mean,
I
they
reckon
kept.
there'd be big bottle shop groups and things, like
Oh,
especially country western stuff as well. Like, because there's guys out that way who own like 10 pubs.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll be
So what is
looking.
it? The Rural Queensland Hoteliers Association, or whatever it is, the one that looks out sort of Western Queensland.
Yeah, yep.
Those guys will lap it up, and I reckon that will guarantee them at least 1 or 2 taps on the already line contracted taps, like 100%. That just having those 4 guys in has guaranteed them tap space in those already contracted pubs.
I think so too. Yeah, I think you'll probably see it kick off people like Traveller or Better Beer or
Yes. Yeah,
based on.
I think it definitely will. And I think I think those sort of other big named brands that are using other sporting stars or other celebrities are going to really struggle, especially here.
Yeah, I just think these guys have a real big reach, just on fandom and just anyone in footy.
Yeah,
Like, and I say footy, I don't mean AFL, I mean rugby league. I know AFL say footy all the time as well. So,
yeah.
yeah, like in the rugby league sphere, and they've
Mm.
gone with the maroon can. The can actually looks good, like it's nice and simple
I like the
design.
can.
Yeah,
It really does annoy me. I actually quite like the entire branding of this and how they've
I know it
approached it.
pisses
It
me off too.
really
I'm
annoys me.
like, and I don't know why it annoys me. As just probably because I used to work the like Catchment Ballistic Group a couple of years ago, and it was always, oh, it's coming, and nothing ever came. And
Well,
yeah,
now we can see why it took so long.
yeah, it is good to see it now coming along for sure. So yeah, I think it's great, and yeah, I think it'll be successful. It'll be a it'll be a big fall down if they don't, but
Yeah,
it'd be very difficult, I think, with names behind it that they have got to do that. So
yeah. Yep. Well,
yeah,
talking about brands with big names behind them, Better Beer are at it again. So they are again looking for another capital raise of anywhere between 10 and 15 million to grow their brand.
well, it gets to a point
Man,
where the bigger you get, the more money you have to put into it to get to the next step.
next state, yeah. Yeah, so this is the thing is I at one point almost every pub had Better Beer on.
Yep.
There was that point where every commercial pub had Better Beer on tap. That definitely is
Well,
dropping.
well, that's because I think the inspired unemployed were COVID celebrities. Like
Yes.
that's when they really started to become known because we're all locked down. And they were just doing dumb stuff, and some stuff was funny, some stuff wasn't. They launched the TV show as the rip-off from the US guys. I didn't find it as enjoyable to watch. It's sort of
No.
like a tame jackass on
Yes.
TV. Um, and it's very hard, I think, to have that side of the business and the people involved, and then to transfer it over into just drinking beer with your mates and like, are we bogan yobbos, or are we making good beer, or are we? This is the beer for the
Yes.
weekend, or and you can only translate some of that stupidity in the way that you're mucking around or doing comedy and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah.
worried that there's a lot of big brands that we're talking about today that I hope they don't get wind of this and holy shit. Would be,
Eh, but
it'll be
yeah.
another oat cream issue. Um,
Oh god.
but
um,
in that, I'm not sure that that connection is
no,
there or still needs to be there. Or
no. Well, I mean, that kind of shows with literally the CEO's statement of going on the article from drinkstrade.com going, and he had an interview talk, and he said it will allow us the ability to invest in a stronger traditional above the line campaign which will drive
yeah,
which will drive more awareness. That shows that the whole social media thing is dying. It's not working for them anymore.
well,
They're clear. It's
they
clear
can't
because
they can't really do a lot of their stuff and market beer
yeah,
because you can't market beer like that. You're just not allowed
no,
to. So it's real hard to, as someone who pretty much knows ABAC inside out, because I'm constantly going, oh, is what I'm doing okay? Is it not? Am I
yeah,
pushing the boundary? Is it not? I'm on that website at least once a day, if not twice,
yeah,
just checking things. And because you've got to make sure you do, and when you get to that size, even though ABAC doesn't have any teeth, if you are big enough and ugly enough, ABAC might not have big enough teeth, but the
but they
ACCC does,
yes.
and and they can refer you and go, hey man, look at what these guys are doing. Um,
Well, so that's
so
the thing is ABAC is meant to be that the self-governing body. It's even though we call it the nanny circle, the nanny like the nanny state sort of, and what they do, but it's that first line of going, hey guys, pull your head in. We don't have teeth, but the guys who we have to report to do have teeth.
yeah,
So I mean, as much as we all can hate on ABAC and all of that, they do serve a purpose as kind of keeping brands in check. And I can guarantee, I reckon these guys would have had a hell of a lot of complaints from ABAC around some of their media stunts regarding the beer. Like,
yeah.
didn't they have something where they were on a jet ski or something while drinking beer or something like something?
I know Pyro Life have done one where they were driving around and in swimming. So everyone's made a mistake. A
Yeah,
lot of the big guys because it's real difficult.
it is hard. I think this honestly screams like we are struggling, and without this, we're not going to be able to get into that next bracket of purchases. Because again, you look at the demographic of who really watches these guys and may go into buying products
Mm.
from them. It's likely going to be younger generation.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
But
gonna.
you reckon they've got an exit strategy of getting bought out by the bigger guys, just pulling it into one of their brands?
You don't create brands like this without trying to get bought out.
Yeah,
Like that, you'd be dumb if they went in with a plan, or if they went in without a plan, thinking that they were going to get bought out. I'd be going, who was your business strategist?
yeah,
Like that's everything about their product, down from the products the actual product itself, to the branding, the way that the cans are designed, the fact that they aren't doing the 16s, they are doing the full slabs. They're doing the 355 ml cans as well.
yeah.
Like everything around that screams sell to the big guys for a profit.
Yep, yep.
Um, so, but there in I don't know whether there's a market for it for the big guys, because their entire brand is around healthier option beers, and I don't know whether any of the big guys would actually want to cannibalize their already existing market around. They've all of them have their own sort of low ABV, low carb. They all have one. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
yep.
whether there's actually a need for any of the big guys to even buy this brand other than just to get rid of it. And I don't. They're not really doing that anymore. They're only buying up the sort of independent breweries or the smaller guys because they see a need for that market. And I don't think there is a need for the big guys to buy it.
No,
Other
but
than control. Other than
at
control.
the same time, all the big guys own things like Powers and whatnot, and they only bring it back every 10 years to keep their trademark active and whatnot. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But if these guys were already a hefty competitor and a concern, they would have already gone for him.
yeah, yeah. Yep, fair. Moving on. We just quick pause there while I grabbed myself a new beer.
What did you end
blimey.
up with?
Well, yeah, I went and had a look in my fridge, and I found a beer, and I can't believe I've left it this long sitting there. And I looked at the bottom of the can, and the can says best before January this year. So we're only a little bit out of it. So I think that's okay. I think that's all right.
What is it?
I'm bringing back an old school.
Oh god,
It's a smoky beer.
smoky beer. Okay, how old school are we talking?
Currumbin Valley.
Oh
Pop
shit!
Revolution.
Oh, smoky beer. You bastard! You bastard!
Shout out to you, Smokes. Much love, my man. And look, and the beer
Jeez.
still pouring amazing. You know, well, it's definitely lost some of its punch, but man, it's still
I mean
a hoppy beer.
thing
Like it's still.
that thing was a bomb, like an absolute hot bomb when it was fresh, though. So I'm not surprised it
Oh
held up
man,
all right.
the aroma might have lost it a little bit, but oh, the flavour, no way.
You're right.
That's awesome. 6.5%, I think I read somewhere here. 6.3. Yeah, this is a good beer.
Oh no, we're having an episode 6 revisit.
I know. No, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Hmm. Anyway, I wanted to talk about my trip down to Canberra for the Craft Beer and Cider Festival
Yep.
that I went down to. So that company now owns Gabs, and they also own.
Is it Sydney Brewery?
Yep. And that festival at Canberra has been going for 19 years. So this was the 19th year of the Canberra. And I tell you what, I've since done, in the last 6 months, I've done crafted on the Gold Coast, crafted at Newcastle, and now Craft Beer and Cider Festival in Canberra. All three cities have very different drinking people and
Ah,
the way
okay.
they drink. Like they're all very different. And I kind of like it. I kind of like the fact that every city is just a little bit different. Like everyone loves beer, and there's some champion back and forth. But overall, like I absolutely loved the festival. Um, I went out with so Ben Spoke put on pre-drinks on the Friday night before the
Oh,
festival, which I got down there on the Friday after driving for like 14 hours. I stopped at Gosford at my cousin's place for 4 hours to have a nap, and then just got back in the car, drove down early morning into Canberra, and set up on Friday morning. So I had access. I was allowed to bump in on Friday morning, so I
oh,
bumped in,
perfect.
set everything up, which was a massive blessing in disguise, because went out for the pre-drinks at Ben Spoke, and that was 2 hours of whatever you wanted on the tab, which was fantastic. and just met up with any other brewers or the stand holders who were there. And it was great. Met a whole heap of people. Yeah, shout out to Snowy River Brewing, Sunday Road. Who else was I talking to? What's her name? Jarvis Bay. Boys were there. After I asked them if they had any more of that Imperial Stout, they were like, "No." Nah. I was like, But Osh, if you're listening, mate, cheers for the beers, and I owe you guys. But so I had all those beers, and I thought, okay, Adam, just do one thing. And Rihanna from Bridge Road, if she's listening, shout out to her. Her and I made a pact early on in the night. We were like, let's not go out and get too smashed because we've got a big day tomorrow. Famous last words, because we went to, there's a bar in the city called Brew Nation, which is
right. Okay.
I've never been out in Canberra because the only time I've been there is for work. So it's like fly in, do my work, and then fly home again.
Yeah.
There's a whole heap of craft beer and pockets of places to go and all sorts of cool venues. And I went to Brew Nation, had some amazing beers, talked to James, a young legend there on the bar, and then we're walking out, and I decided, I reckon I've still got a couple in me. And I went up to this upstairs. If you asked me to take you there now, I wouldn't have any clue where I went. But I just heard music coming out of this venue. And so I walked upstairs, sat there, had a couple of beers, left, can't find an Uber receipt, got home to the hotel, which was a good 4K walk, but I don't know if I walked or what, but got home. Woke up the next day, went to breakfast, and everyone setting up for the festival looked as seedy as me, and we're all like, "Oh, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
But then the big storm, massive, just like the festival had been open for 15 minutes, and a big storm rolled in, and everyone's crowding under all the gazebos and that all the beer stands have got. My gazebo, we had like two 25-foot flagpoles, like aluminium flagpoles up in the air. And all I could think was,
lightning rod.
I'm going to kill people. I just basically put up antennas. But we launched the Clever Cap, which is a device that sits on top of your can and keeps flies out and stuff like that. We sold a heap of those, and heaps of people. This festival is different because you could buy takeaways and get them sent up the front.
That's
and then
right.
when you were leaving the festival, off you could go, which was super great and super easy. I also want to give a massive shout out to Amber, who was helping me on my stand. She was volunteering, so I just paid her in beer and cool shit. And she is the president of the Canberra Brewers Homebrew Club down there.
Oh, right, okay.
So met heaps of cool people. Networked the shit out of just fun and talking to people. It was just a really, really great festival. Next year's the 20th, and I really hope that we go down again. I definitely want to. I think it'll be excellent. So, much love to the people in Canberra. I think that they can definitely turn on a festival. And if you can get there, it's fantastic. You go there for the weekend, celebrate on the Friday night, definitely go to the festival on the Saturday, and then Sunday either make your way home or stay another day and try a few other bars and whatnot around the place. So, can recommend. So,
yeah, nice.
And then...
So good.
Hey?
And then the long drive back.
Well, so again, I stopped at my cousin's place at Gosford, and I made it to his place at about 2 in the afternoon on a Sunday, and we jumped in his car and he drove me around. I had some beer left over, obviously, so I put some samples together and we drove out to Block and Tackle Brewing, which was absolutely great. The beers out there were fantastic. And then we went to Six Strings. I'd love to do a collab with them. I think it'd be great to do Carbon 6 and Six Strings.
I've always loved their red. Their red has always been fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I think I had the IPA or something now. I can't remember. And then after that, we went to Big Little Brewing, which is the shirt I'm wearing today. And Rachel and Nick, I want to say. I hope my memory's good. But the beers there were absolutely great too. I got a for some reason, I could tell that I'd hit my stride because I'd ordered a pint of IPA at that bar. Yeah. And then we went to Bay Road in Gosford itself, and I had 4 beers in there, like 4 hoppy beers, and he just released 1 beer, and they were all excellent. Every single brewery I went to was great. Bay Road was awesome, and they do a festival sort of thing there where it's brewer against a brewer, or I can't remember the exact name of it. But he was like, "Oh, I wanted to reach out to you guys and see if you'd come down. We basically get 4 of your kegs and 4 of ours and 4 of someone else's, and we just put it on and just have a big old thing of it." And I was like, "I'm in. I'm keen."
That just sounds like a piss up to me.
That's why I'm in. I'm keen.
God damn.
I'm pretty sure Keegan. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I'm terrible with names, as everyone knows. That's why everyone gets called mate. But yeah, it was, that day was fantastic, and then made it back to my cousin's about 5 or 6 o'clock. We actually went to a local pub where I had a couple of 2 years old as well.
Oh yeah,
my 2 years old rule is if it's on tap, you got to have a schooner.
You've got to have a schooner. Yep.
Yep. Oh, I just had 2 because the footy was on. I was watching the footy.
Yes.
So. And then had an early night and got up at 3 a.m. Queensland time, which was 4 a.m. New South Wales, because it was daylight saving, and just started driving back. So and then I'm driving back, and it's like obviously night time, but it's also storming. Like, so it's raining everywhere. The road from Gosford to Newcastle, the highway is not the nicest highway at all. So it was super nerve-wracking the whole way. Get out the other side of Newcastle, sun's shining, it's all well and good. That's fine. But the driver reviver, stopping every 2 hours and whatnot, just to, get out, stretch your legs, do all that shit, was beneficial. And shout out to what was his name? Senior Sergeant someone. Who was doing RBTs, and he goes, "You had anything to drink?" And I said, "No, mate, not today." And told him the story, and he goes, "Mate," he goes, "How much you got in the back?" I said, "I've got some. Do you want any?" And he goes, "Oh, I'd love to." He said, "But unfortunately, I'm wearing the body cam. I can't turn it off." And he goes, "You go on your way." He goes, "Don't have any of those sneaky beers." And I said, "Mate, I don't want any beers. Don't worry."
I'm done. I'm done for the weekend.
But yeah, so overall, massive success. And then on Monday, I had the day off work because, oh no, I didn't. I got back on Monday. Yeah, this was on Monday that I drove back. And so I had Tuesday off work just to recover a bit. And actually went to the cinema and watched that Hail Mary Project Hail Mary.
Yeah,
fucking
Project
good.
Hail Mary.
So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's actually pretty good. It's like a modern day ET with adults and a rock. So, yeah, look, and if you have seen it, you'll know what that means. So, thumbs down. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. No. It's up to brewery visit wish list and why.
Yes.
So you can go because I've done a lot of talking just then, and
that's fair enough.
Smokey's beer.
Yeah. Well, mine is no stranger to sort of beer mythology. I think it's probably the most well-known, coveted, limited beer on the planet at one point. It is the West Vleteren brewery in Belgium, which is part of the St. Sixtus Abbey, and they are one of the last few of the Trappist breweries. So they make the legendary Westy 12, which I think at one point had won the world's best beer about 4 years running. I think it was about 4 years in a row. It took out that title at the World Beer Cup. And I mean, it is a phenomenal beer. But it's just one of those weird breweries. Like, you've got to go on a waiting list. You've got to give your license plate. You can only take so much. Like, it's such a rare beer to get.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you got to line up. And
you got to line up. There's only a certain
Pliny the Elder.
Oh, it is. It's but just the fact that they've been making beer there for that long, and everything just goes back to the community. Like, yeah, it's a sort of it's one of the old abbeys and monasteries and stuff like that. But to still be basically brewed by monks is kind of cool. So yeah,
It's
it is
super cool.
definitely like
Yeah,
I mean,
I think the whole thing around it is so great, and the fact that that the monks are still involved with it, and they're trying to protect that tradition as well. I think is
yeah,
fantastic. So
yes, yeah. So that is that one is on my wish list.
yeah,
What about so
um,
yours?
mine is Meanwood Brewery in Leeds, West Yorkshire, and I have some sad news about it. So they are actually closing up the brewery um, since yesterday. They're done and dusted. They're going to be Taprooms, but the brewery side, I think they're closing it down. It's these guys. If you've seen them on Instagram or anything, I've used them as um, a whole bunch of inspiration for Instagram reels and stuff for Carbon 6. They are absolutely hilarious, and um, it's really sad to me that these guys are going. So they're just a little microbrewery, but they were like huge, um, huge comedy. They would like, oh yeah, 108% craft beer, 1.2% comedy, and stuff like that. Like they're just really funny guys, and they're just going to have to. They're closing up and doing something different, but that would have been somewhere that I would have loved to have gone and checked them out because it just was something that I was super interested in and wanted to go and check them out. So, and
Oh,
now I'm
that's a
not going to be
shame.
able to. So,
Oh, that is a shame.
so pub court,
Pub court.
pub court. All right. So this week's case, if you want to be a member of pub court or be a member of our jury, um, jury. I don't know how I said that, but anyway, if you want to be part of the jury and you can vote on any of our pub court cases of whether you're in the defence or prosecution side, you just need to go to facebook.com/group/Aussie Beer Voyage. Get yourself approved, and I'll do that pretty quickly because I'm a legend, as I always say. And I even did one at a rest stop halfway back at like Mittagong, I think, the other day. So
Yeah.
yeah. So this week's pub court PC 007, calling a craft beer limited but rebrewing it monthly. Marketing spin or harmless hype?
I don't know how I feel about this one. I hate the question itself. Rebrewing it monthly. I mean, Jesus Christ, what brewery is that busy that they're rebrewing a limited
Well,
monthly?
how about you say, are you rebrewing it within the same season
Yeah, fair enough.
or 6 months? You know,
Yep.
like if it's
Yeah, all right.
because there's seasonal beers where you bring them back seasonal, but are you brewing it again in the same year when it shouldn't be, like in the same 6 months sort of thing? You know when you brewed a beer and it sells out like hotcakes, and you go, I'm doing it again, and you brew it again, and then it's stuck on the shelf because the hype's gone and everyone knows, and you're like
Yeah,
still trying to talk it up like it's this thing. People are going, yeah, no, that's not what we want. We wanted a new beer.
fair enough. All right. Well, as usual, I will bring out my trusty bottle cap.
Okay.
Um,
What's the goal this week? Do I get to call it and
yeah,
choose
you
what
get to
I do
call
if
it,
I
and then
win?
you get to choose. So, heads is the top of the cap, tails is the bottom, as usual.
Okay.
If you get it right, you get to choose which one you're doing.
I'm going to go heads.
Unfortunately, not this week, mate. Was last week. It's back to tails.
Okay. Is it marketing spin or harmless
I'm I'm taking marketing spin.
hype?
I'm
Okay.
taking marketing spin. You have to go harmless hype.
Righto. I can do this after I just bemoaned
That's exactly why I. Of course, that's why I made you do it, mate. Well, of
Yeah, yeah.
course.
Yep. Um, yeah, okay. Righto. All right, you got to go first. So
Yes.
let me get my where's my timer up here? Oh my god, I've had too many beers.
Can't find your stopwatch.
I opened the calculator. All right. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am ready.
All right, and go.
All right. Calling craft beer limited, but rebrewing it monthly. Total marketing spin. All you're doing is disappointing your customers. By stating something that's limited, people expect that it's limited. You can only get it for a short period of time. If you keep bringing it back and back and back, not letting it die its natural death, one, you're potentially getting stuck with a whole lot of beer. But two, you're letting down your customers. You're fooling them. You're making fools of your customers, telling them to gum out real quickly and spend their hard-earned cash when potentially they couldn't afford it that week, but they really want to get into it, when actually you've got the plan to release it week after week. It may not seem like a big deal, but brand reputation is everything in beer, and disappointing your customers by doing these sneaky little plays is not a good move. It's a grubby move for a brewery to claim it's a hype beer. It's limited. It takes a bit to then decide, nah, we're just going to screw our customers over. People might think it's harmless, but at the end of the day, you're lying to the consumers, and that's not a good look. And I rest.
Ooh, 8 seconds.
Oof. All right.
All right. Okay.
Start when you're ready.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to start by refuting Matthew's argument by even throughout his own argument. He was saying the same thing again and again, which proves that that's the sort of thing that we need to do in this day and age. People like things over and over. If you like a good beer, you're going to want more of it. You're going to want it again and again. Just because he used a phrase of week in, week out. Now, we talked even before we set out this pub jury court case that it was like monthly to 3 monthly, maybe 6 monthly, stretch it out, like at least have a gap in between here and there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you really love the beer, you're going to go back to it. It's almost like a core range that's not a core range. It's still hanging around. You can get it when you want it to a degree, and it's always going to be more fresh because it's not like a core range that just keeps turning up and again sticking around and around. So you know that if they're brewing it over and over again every few times, it's pretty damn good. I don't think it's too bad at all. It's really good, harmless hype. And if you like the beers, you're going to buy it. Let the breweries do what they want to do, I say. Can't drop my mic, but that's it.
Had 20 seconds left. You bastard. You bastard.
As soon as you said week by week.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I meant to say month by month, and I just went, fuck. As soon as I said that, I just went, shit. Here we go. Here we go.
To the people listening who do join our jury and vote for these, Matt and I aren't on either side of these. We do vote publicly, personally,
Yeah.
but we just take a side just to give you an argument to go against and help plant a thought in your own head to help make up a mind or maybe confuse you a little bit. So either or.
I'm happy just to confuse them a little bit.
That's right. So either or, jump on and vote for whichever side that you would like to be on and see win at facebook.com/groups/Aussie Beer Voyage. And yeah, we will read out the results in next week's episode where we will have another pub court case. Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah. All right.
Mate, this week is my chance for Industry Legend shout out.
And who have you picked?
I have chosen Will Tatchell from Van Diemen Brewing down in Tasmania. I've only met him once,
Mm.
and that was at the Indie Beers. I can't remember the year. It was the second year that they'd come up here, Queensland. So it would have been just after COVID, like sometime, like 22 maybe. And I remember on his table for one of the sessions, and the amount of knowledge that he has, but also um, experience, friendliness, as well as volume. He's a big man with a big voice, but just very welcoming and made sure that everyone was very well understood. He got everyone's point and helped out when he thought, oh, hang on, maybe if you did this a little bit better. And I've definitely used a lot of his advice further into my judging career and stuff like that, which I've been much appreciative of. And I'm yet to even get to Tasmania. I've never been to Tasmania. It's one of
Mm.
the only state that I've never been to, or territory, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, it's the only state that I've not been to in Australia, and I'd love to get over there and try all the breweries that are, and whiskey distilleries as well, and gin
Yep.
distilleries. And look, I just want to go to Tasmania and hit on the terps basically, but I'd love to get over there and definitely go to Van Diemen. I think the way that he brews is crazily insane, which would be awesome to go and check out
Yeah.
his farm. So,
Yeah.
and I
Fair
still
enough.
remember his beer called the Paddock. I don't know if anyone's had it, but one that I had, cracking beer, so good. Old mate Reese brought it over and we shared it. So
Yeah. Right.
shout out to Will. Thank you, my friend, for all your advice on my judging stuff. Got
Yeah.
anything else,
Cool.
mate?
No, I think that ties it up pretty nicely, actually.
Sorry, I was just drinking a beer.
When are you not? When are you not?
There's a lot of times I'm not, and a lot of time I'm sleeping. So.
Yes. Yes, that is it.
Yep. No, cool. All right. Cheers, mate, and I'll see you next week and chat some more then.
Chat some more beer next week. Yeah.
100%.
Have a good one, mate.
Over and out.